Howdy, I'm Lex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, so, we managed to get some D&D in. Oh man, let me tell you. Let me tell you about D&D. So, it's pretty hit or miss if my group shows up to play D&D. Like it's crazy because we scheduled for this night, and so I don't understand. I know I say this a lot, but I don't understand if you've agreed to do something, why you schedule other things for the same time. That didn't happen this week, really. But you know, so at least one, and there's only 4 of us that play. At least one of us, most weeks, seems like they can't show up on time or at all, and sometimes with no messages that they're not going to show up. And I don't think that's okay. I have never not messaged. I'm there almost always. Because I want to play. And so yeah. So that's I don't know. So we've been struggling for a little while now to consistently have everyone show up. And so I decided to make a campaign that we could play when not everybody was there. And so I talked to... There's 2 of us that DM. Maybe 3 of us. The one guy said that he would like to run a campaign, and he had picked one out. So I don't know if he was serious. But basically, I mean, I can give you a quick rundown of my playing 5th edition D&D DM wise. I did an online D&D game, like streamed online game with a group for a long time, and that was like a once a week thing. We met pretty consistently, and then somewhere in there, one of the guys that we were playing with, who I do, like, he's from a different group. There's, have you ever seen a clip from Seinfeld where they talk about worlds colliding? It was one of those instances where someone I hang out with ended up playing Steel Knuckles. Steel Knuckles. Anyways, he ended up playing in this D&D campaign that a different group that I hang out with was running. And so my Steel Knuckles. Awesome. And so uh, during that, he decided that on the nights that we do other things, we should start playing D&D. And I was fine with that. And so we looked around, and uh, I mean, I didn't look around. Let me rephrase that. He looked around for people for us to play with, and found like one other guy, and that was the only person he could find that would want to play with us. And so, um, that was fine. We just played. I play two characters. They play one character, and the DM who plays the character also DMs. And so he did that for a long time. It wasn't consistent, um, but it was, supposed to be every week. And he only has played so far. Oh no, I was going the right way. I lost that orange exclamation point somehow. But he only plays campaigns that are preloaded on Roll20 so far. Oh, this is a big one. They want me to search the school. Oh man, there's isn't there a drop out there I didn't get? I bet somewhere out there is a plane drop that came down one day while we were having an episode, and I never went to get it. Nice. So I decided that I would start running a campaign as well, because it takes some effort to run a campaign, and he was always complaining about how much time it was taking him. So I offered to run a campaign, and so we've been doing that for a couple years now, where he runs a campaign and I run a campaign. And so 3 points. Does that get me another point in Lucky Looter? Yes, it does. Oh, I still have 2 points. Final Lucky Looter takes a perception of 7, so we'll go ahead and buy the next point in that. And yeah, so I've been running a campaign. He's been running a campaign sort of every other week. And so lately it's been pretty bad on everyone showing up every week. And so we do this thing where whoever's week it is just gets bumped to the next week. And so, we're down to like, I'd say 3 times every 2 months, it feels like. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to make a campaign that we can play when not everybody's here, because I don't like not playing. I want to play. And so I made the campaign, and then I wanted everybody to be on when we ran it, and we're getting really close to the end of the Starfighter campaign that I'm currently running. And so I thought, we'd wait and do that afterwards. And then, we didn't get everybody there for the Starfighter campaign. And then the next week, we didn't get everybody there for the Starfighter campaign. And then the next week, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to run my campaign. And so with 3 people instead of the 4, like, was my intention to start, so that everybody could get to start it. Because to be fair, it's usually the same guy missing. And so, so we ran it. We did the first session of it, and then I'm like, all right, so now I said to the other DM, you've got to set up a campaign so we can do the same thing. So if somebody misses on your night, then we run a different campaign. Because he's been talking about Spelljammer forever. When we talk about what campaigns we want to play, he always is talking about putting together a Spelljammer campaign because he loves Spelljammer. Um, which I find to be weird. I'm not exactly sure what he thinks Spelljammer is, but uh, you know. And so we uh the one guy didn't show up 2 weeks ago, I think. And so we talked about what we wanted to run because it was his DM night, right? And so we played Final Fantasy, I think, and we chatted about it. And so you know, the new Spelljammer book has just come out for D&D. And so I thought he would be all over that. It's got a campaign, a tiny campaign in it. There's also a second campaign out there that we have access to. Although, to be fair, the one campaign is not available on Roll20, but the one is. And so he could play the Roll20 campaign. And you know, since that's how he runs his games, I don't have anything against him playing on Roll20. We play on Roll20 all the time. I wish he'd be more willing to like homebrew some stuff. I think we've played a long time now without any homebrew campaigns. I mean, I'm just as guilty. I haven't run any homebrew campaigns, although I've only run 2 short campaigns so far. So I ran I don't know, level 1 to 3 maybe campaign called I don't remember, the Demon Plague. That's what it's called. Although I have the whole Demon Plague, and we'll probably run another section of that soon. And then I wanted to try Starfinder, which, you know what, I don't like it as much as I like 5th edition. I want to a lot, but it's too there's too much going on with the rules to really get a feel for it. And did you die? No, I don't think so. And so I think that I would just like to do 5th edition. I think that I might just... Okay, that must be down inside there. I think that I might just do a sci-fi 5th edition thing. Next time we want to do some Starfinder. Or I might just take the Starfinder campaign we got now and swap it out to 5th edition. I don't like the rules in Starfinder. I want to. It's just too clunky for me. And like I really don't enjoy their version of Rogue at all, which is what I'm playing. And I find it really weird that the Rogue's ability requires so much... I don't know. The games are just set up to be very damage light. And I'm used to 5th edition, which is damage heavy. And so it's weird to take so long to get through any kind of combat and to always fail my special attack just every time because there's too much that goes into making it work. I like being able to trigger a trick attack, which would be a sneak attack kind of. Um, I like triggering it on something I do rather than having to have other people around me. That's cool, but I don't like never having it work, um, which is a weird tangent. Anyways, so uh, it's not a weird tangent, but it is a tangent, as I am good at doing. Uh, so we were discussing 2 weeks ago, uh, 2 weeks ago, what campaign he would want to run for the nights when not everybody shows up. And so I thought he would really want to get into Spelljammer because, like I said, he talks about Spelljammer whenever we talk about our favorite books. It's for him, it's always Spelljammer. For me, I'd like to run something in the Dark Sun era, but they haven't added any Dark Sun to 5th edition yet. So if I do, it's going to have to be a campaign that I pull together myself, possibly from older campaigns, but it might just completely homebrew it. I don't really need the lore of was it Athos to run a campaign. I can just make my own lore. But oh right, I need to get this thing. Oh. Dude, I just walked right past it. Like I looted that room and didn't grab the bag. Nice. So, so he was like, yeah, I guess we'll run some Spelljammer then next time he doesn't show up. And I'm like, cool. And so the other guy that plays with us, he's like, yeah, I'd be into that. Make some new characters, get a new campaign going for the night when we don't have everybody here. And so I thought that was settled. And so then last week, guy doesn't show up. And so then the other DM, whose turn it still is because of the way we do it, right? It's your turn until we play your game. So the longer it takes for people to show up, the longer there is waiting for you to run your game. He didn't do anything. Like he didn't get anything out. He didn't read anything. He didn't do anything. And so when we show up and the other guy doesn't show up, he's like, yeah, so what you guys want to do tonight? And you're like, well, since he's not showing up, I think the 1 week he said he wouldn't be on, and then that week he didn't respond. So last week he didn't respond to texts. Just didn't show up, didn't respond at all. And so, I was like, well, I thought we were starting your other campaign since he didn't show up, because we'd already run, one session of mine where he didn't show up. And he's like, oh, well, I didn't think we had settled on what we were going to do. And I'm like, I thought you had planned on Spelljammer. We really spent an entire night playing Final Fantasy and discussing what we were going to run. And now you're saying that we didn't plan anything. And so, again, last week we chit-chatted about what was going to be run. And so then this week, I texted the guy. Must be through here. I texted the guy the day before, and he said he was going to show up. And then when it came time for us to start, he wasn't on. And so we were saying, hey, well, I guess maybe you better get the other campaign ready to go, and he's like, well, we hadn't decided what we were doing yet. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, we did. We talked about it, man. We've talked about it for 2 weeks now. This is week 3. What do you mean? Woo. They almost got me. We did it. Made it through a tier 4 clear. So, again, last night we talked about what we were going to run. And I don't know if we ever decided anything. In fact, he was like, "Will, you think that guy's showing up?" I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, "Well, you think I should text him?" I'm like, "Go right ahead." And so I had texted him to see what the deal was, and he was just because he's does some coaching. He was at a meet and wouldn't Bellows wouldn't be able to make it for like another 15-20 minutes, he said. And so he was like, "So what are we gonna do then?" I'm like, "We'll play the quiet game." And so then we all just stopped talking because the dude talks a lot, and so I knew he wouldn't be able to stay quiet that long. And sure enough, it didn't take long at all. Maybe 15 seconds. And he was like, "Oh, come on, guys, what are we actually doing? We can't just sit here and not talk." And so that's what we did. We, me and the other guy, were probably quiet for, I don't know, 10 minutes while we looked through Roll20 campaigns and posted links to them. He's like, "I can't believe you guys do this. You're so childish." It was pretty funny. Is there not a way just out of here? That's so weird. You get all the way out here and there's not a way just outside. Oh, you know what that says? I'm thirsty. I thought it meant I was bleeding. So we did look at some different campaigns. I still don't know if we've decided anything, but we did play D&D last night. The dude did finally show up. We looked at about, I don't know, 5 different campaigns that are on Roll20, because that's the criteria for that other guy to run a campaign, is it has to be pre-loaded into Roll20. Like, we got no problem paying for a campaign. He just doesn't want to have to do any work on prepping, even if he does talk about how much work he has to do to prep for the games that are preloaded into Roll20. I've never purchased a campaign, so I don't know exactly what it's like. But it seems like it loads like all the bad guys and all the maps and does all the lighting for the maps and all of that for you. I've only done the version where you load your own maps, do your own lighting, load your own tokens, put them in the right spots, that kind of stuff. So it does take it does take a bit of effort to prep for a campaign if you're not using a purchased campaign. I understand that. I understand not wanting to do all that work, I guess. Although I've always done that. I say always like I've done it 100 times. I've done 2 campaigns, right? But yeah, it's funny because I don't know. I think we'd have a better time if if one of us would run a homebrew campaign. I mean, I guess I am running a homebrew campaign, but it's just on the night when it's my turn and that other guy doesn't show up. Or I guess anybody who doesn't show up. Well, it'd be tricky if I didn't show up to run a homebrew campaign that I'm making up in my head as I go. But you know, anyways, we completed a floor last night. We got to a new floor. The new floor is awful. I hate it. We basically completed the previous floor the last time we played. But this new floor is air quote obstacle course. And why can't I throw that on the ground? Thank you. Just want to make room for whatever loot I'm about to pick up here. And my biggest problem with it is that
Listen up, jackass.
is that it has a sports announcer type deal that happens as you're playing, which my DM really gets into, and it's the kind of nonsense that I despise. So yeah, but we already been we went in. The DM screwed up part of it right at the beginning. I think no, he didn't screw anything up yet. So there's teleportation traps that are undetectable, of course. This campaign, not just him running it, but this campaign is one of the most annoying books I've ever played. I don't understand. Like, it's super annoying. It's full of traps that you can't do anything about, and some of them will just about kill you. And then there's like all the bad guys either seem to be super weak or super overpowered, and there's no happy in between. There are no towns to go to. There are no NPCs to interact with, for the most part. We've been playing for I really want to say we've been playing this campaign for close to 2 years now. It can't have been that long. It feels like it, though. We might have started the first book. There's 2 books kind of to it. And we did the first book, which is levels 1 to 5, and now we're on the book that's level 5 to 20. The fact that the first book was better. The level 1 to 5 is better. But the level 5 to 10 has no story. I don't even know what to upgrade at this point. This is the highest I've ever been in a campaign. I could really use some ammo. You've got no ammo. You've got nothing.
You don't buy something next time.
Dude, you know what? You don't have anything I want for sale. I'd like to see you try and shoot me. But yeah, so we get in there and I really hate the Nat 1, Nat 20 mentality he has. The DM. Look, getting a Nat 20 is cool. Nat for natural. You roll a 20-sided dice, you get a 20 on it, right? It's cool, right? It's pretty awesome to get one. I get it. It's cool. but he really, really, really ties our successes into getting those nat 20s. And like everything we do, if we don't get a massively high skill check, he basically just assumes we failed. He doesn't set skill checks. If you get way over 20 or a nat 20, great, you succeeded. If you get less than that, you didn't quite get there. If you got a 1, there might be some catastrophic consequence. It's super annoying. It's not how the game's supposed to be played. Skill checks are hard. I will admit that. Skill checks are hard to set. It's the one... It's not the one. It's one of the things that I find most difficult when DMing. Because there aren't set skill checks. And so what I mean by that is a skill check is you come to a door and you go to open the door and the door is stuck and you can't push it open by just, normal means. So you got to use some abnormal means to get it open, which might be a strength check. And so I always find strength checks in the books to be set way weird based on how they describe skill checks. So an average person would have a strength of 10, okay? Which gives you a bonus of 0. So the stronger you are, obviously the bigger the bonus you get. And it goes from 10 to 20 is probably your normal max. It's hard to get magic items that increase your stats. And so, this is medicine. And so, it's really weird to me that you'll get into it like a book, and it'll be like, yes, the skill check to push open this door is at 24. And I'm like, okay, but if a 10 is the average of what it would take to push open a stuck door, like an everyday stuck door. Oh, this door sticks a little. You gotta, give it a little shoulder. That's a 10. So 15 is something that would take a little skill to do, right? So you get to a lock. It's a regular lock. It's going to take some skill to open a lock with lock picks, right? It might be a 15. If it's a really good lock, then it might be a 20. If it's the best lock, you're talking 25, 30, somewhere in there, right? But there's no set number for that. There's not like a 10 is a regular lock, a 15 is a good lock, 20 is a, superior lock, 25 is an excellent lock, and 30 is a master lock, right? Not the brand, just a leveling thing. So, it's hard to set those. But to have everything be either you get way over 20 or you don't succeed with him drives me crazy. So, our rogue rolled a natural 20 to look for traps, which is awesome, right? But it doesn't mean anything with skills. And so I don't know what his number would actually be. But our DM didn't even check what his number would be. He's just like, oh, you got a nat 20. He's like, well, I'm going to reward that nat 20. And I hate it. I hate that phrase right there. I'm going to reward that nat 20. Because it's never really reward. It's more like, here's what you should have gotten in the first place. And so he screws up at that point a little bit. And he tells us about the teleportation trap. And then later reads that they're supposed to be... no, I don't want that one. I want this one. And then reads that they're supposed to be undetectable, right? And so then he's like, well, I gave that to you because... I gave that one to you because... why do I have bullet tips in here? Because you got that nat 20. But really, oh, I've got bullets. And my cement mixer. I forgot about my cement mixer. But really, he just, didn't read the instructions on the campaign. That's what really happened. And so... so we managed to work our way around and talk to these guys. And then I think he rolled a nat 20 on that too. And so then, the DM's like, oh, well, like everything there is to know about these creatures. And so I just saw something that's supposed to go in here. There it is. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just... It wasn't a bad night. It just really, really super annoying level that I'm not going to enjoy. I mean, I'm not going to enjoy in a campaign I already don't enjoy, right? Okay, I want the serrated knife on this instead of the weighted head. But yeah, at least we got to play. I'm glad we got to play. Because I don't like not getting to play. Well, I think... nope, that doesn't go in there. That goes in here. I think with that... Let's go ahead and get this map loaded up. I'll probably go ahead and call it here. And we can come back and I can look for that... there's a treasure out there, and I know a plane came over, but I have no idea where it got dropped. Unless I did pick up that plane, and I don't remember. That could be. So with that, be bearing the small things, lean in the light. I will talk to you later.